How's everybody doing? Well, so far so good. My mouth cavity is still good. It's swelling down considerably. Take advantage. For those of you who want a reading or consultation, a tarot card reading, or a birth chart, or just advice of any kind, call for a consultation. 347-485-6258. Take advantage. Well, I still can't do this because I'm gonna go for surgery again next week, so and I won't be able to speak to anybody. Okay, so just put the calls in now, especially that we're moving away from a retrograde, where the money and things will be able to flow for you and to be able to reach me. Okay, having said that, again, thank you guys for donating on my GoFundMe page because you're paying for content so that I can continue to provide content for you. I don't make my channel a paid subscription, which I can easily do that, but I don't want to do that, I let you donate and let the money go directly towards the organization where is going towards good stuff, for the community, which I put out there. So again, for those of you who keep donating, please continue. The season has already begun, and I plan now to go to Chelmsford this summer. Okay, so again, and my brother Bruce, is out there. So thanks very much. And now, without any further ado, let's jump right in and let's talk about part two of the moon in Cancer in a woman's chart, part two. Right, no, no. Well, a couple of things that I also want to bring to your attention is that, oh, well, I still got to have my Dominican rum, Barcelo. Ooh, but I do have some tea. I got some, it's Dominican tea. It's like green tea, but it's made out of, oh, I forgot the name of it. I'll let you know. We call it Ginebra in Spanish. It's tea and it's herbal tea, everything fresh, and it's made it to help balance the body from the alcohol and all the stuff that I'm going through with the surgery. Okay, and of course my weed. Now, another thing that Cancer is known for, especially the moon in Cancer woman, is that she is very good when it comes to being strong and caring. She always safeguards her feelings, putting up a wall for others not to be able to see the true woman that's behind the door or behind the wall. It's like the walls of Jericho, in the Bible, right? The Old Testament. You need trumpets from seven sides to bring down the walls of Jericho when you blow the trumpet, right? The trumpet of David, right? So the same thing is true if you want to penetrate through the walls of this very mystical, enigmatic, and just magical woman. With the moon in Cancer, this is all woman. And more than you would want or can even handle on every level. No, not just sex, on every level. She is so loving and caring towards her fellow human being when on a good day. Because let's add in her tempestuous, moody nature, which are always connected to the phases of the moon, which are occurring above. You know, it's not always internal, her processes. They come from external sources, just like the pulling of the tides of our oceans. These oceans are moving up and down because there's another body outside of our planet that are pushing these bodies of water. And it is the moon, another body out in space that outside of our own planet is pushing against our own field of gravity and pushing our oceans. Think about that shit. That shit is deep. That shit is deep. Deep. Oh, you don't know how deep it is. You gotta be a scientist to understand the beauty of nature and also her terror. All these mysteries are in the moon in Cancer, in both a woman and a man's chart. Oh, Fascinating. I love my job. And I love bringing this knowledge to you. Because you'll get to know yourself that much more better. And that be much more empowered. Of course. Why not? You need a chaser, baby. That Barcelona is too strong. For this time in the morning, and the reason why I'm drinking like this on a Sunday morning, because it's 7:46 in the morning, is to nurse. Because I gotta get ready to do another series of surgeries. But my doctors know what I'm doing in my orthodontist. They're like, okay, friend, we're gonna give you only because I'm gonna take painkillers. All right, understand now that again, and you all know this, a woman, and we're talking about all women, not just the cancer female or the woman with the moon in cancer, is that she is governed by the moon and by many ebbs and flows and impulses that come from our natural satellite up above. The hormones of our bodies. There's a branch in medicine called endocrinology that deals with the study of hormones. An endocrinologist. These hormones that move through our bodies, guess where they are governed by? The thyroid, the pituitary, the hypothalamus. Yeah, 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 yeah. But at the same time, it's governed by the fluidity of the moon. 70% of our bodies is water. And the hormones of our bodies, which resonates in the blood, cannot flow without a particular specific gravity or volume of water in our bodies. Medical doctors know what I'm talking about. Those forces which run through the meridians are governed, and the doctors won't tell you this, by the moon. Okay? The word shaman means to know. And trust me when I tell you that as shamans, we know. So understand that the moon is far more complex and mysterious than we have been academically led to believe. And that it has far more of an influence in our psyche, mind, body, spirit than anything that we have been taught before about that satellite standing up above, moving in a sedonic movement right along with our planet. Understand that the human female or the woman governed by the moon in Cancer will also move psychologically in such a direction, sideways, sedonically, like the crab which moves sideways. And when you observe the summer solstice, in the summer, the sun in our sky moves sideways before it goes down to the horizon. And it leaves a stream. Oh, it's beautiful. You see nature in vivo, right at where the sun looks like a crab moving sideways. And at the summer solstice. Yeah. So understand that we embody all of the signs to the actual rhythms of nature herself. Okay? And this nature is completely embedded in the psyche, which governs the actions of the Cancer female or the moon in Cancer female. So she is like a flower that has to be watered and put on the sunlight every day. But it depends on the flower or on the plant. Not all plants require sunlight every day. Not all plants require watering every day. Every plant is beautiful in its own glory. So too is every moon in Cancer woman. So not all women are the same, even though they're all influenced by the same celestial body. And that explains the collective consciousness and unconsciousness that many women all over the planet share with each other, which you don't see among men. It's deep. This position of the moon is probably the most mystical and most powerful of all 12 series, positions of this series, which includes 12. Kudos to you if you have the moon in Cancer and you are a female. Wonderful position. Your sex life should be that of a porno movie, the latest styles. And enjoying it. Okay? Another thing is that she again, she's nice until she's not. Like Miss Libra. Wait until we get to the moon in Libra. You know what? She's nice until she's not. So the same thing is said about the moon in Cancer. She's nice and protective, but with a dark twist. Oh Lord, too bad we don't have time to go into the real dark twist. 'Cause then I have to do a part 3, and it's not in the contract. You have to be consulted. That's where the business part of this comes in. You have to not consult because it's too much. It's too much. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about it. Just to give a little bit, this dark twist. If you go out with her on a full moon, I gotta talk about it. Well, if you go out with a woman, any woman, but especially if this is a Cancer moon woman, and you go out with her on a full moon, oh, give me a minute. Even the fire spirits don't want to light. They're scared. How do I say this and keep a straight face? Uh, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but you have to understand that this woman, uh, there are two things that go on when you go out with a woman with a full moon and a Cancer moon woman. It can happen with any woman that you're with that you happen to go out with on a full moon. But especially with this Cancer girl with the moon in Cancer, you go out with her. Do you remember the movie, the La La Land? It won an Oscar, I believe. La La Land. That's the moon in Cancer, not the moon in Pisces. Oh, and it gave you a lot of Pisces. That movie gave you a lot of moon in Pisces. La La Land. That got the Oscar. No, that's the moon in Cancer. You saw the movie. You saw the movie. That is moon in Cancer. Where dreams can come true, and you're crying, and the credits go up. It's done. I was happy for the girl. Yeah, I saw the movie. We have to see these movies. That's part of our job, to see what's really being projected out in the collective through our films and movies and theaters. Because it's all telling some aspect of the human story. That's the reason why we have televisions and motion pictures and films and theater. The things that we go to pay and see are projections of reality that we don't get to experience. It's kind of like a jump start in knowing more as much about humanity by watching other people portray humanity. So we don't have to go through one experience to go through it all. It's impossible to. It takes many lifetimes to go through the scope of experience of humanity. To be born a man, to be born a woman, black, white, to die old age, to die by being murdered, to by we're here to experience all facets of the human experience. That doesn't happen in one lifetime. That's why we have to live multiple lifetimes. And why am I talking about this? Because the moon rules the past and Cancer rules the immediate past life. Remember, Cancer falls under the fourth house. And if you've seen my charts on YouTube on how to interpret a birth chart, the fourth house rules the immediate past life. And the moon, the details of that past life. So we have to talk about this if you're dealing with a woman with the moon in Cancer. Because if you're dealing with a woman with the moon in Cancer, or a man, but more so with a woman, then it is a possibility that the woman that you're with is a woman that you knew before from other lifetimes. Ooh, that's deep. You see why I had to take a fucking hit? Because it goes deeper from there. Get ready. And we just started. Now we have a lot to cover. We have a lot to cover with the moon in Cancer. Okay. So understand that with this, you have to be able to not deny your feelings, not turn your back to your feelings. If the impulse from within is telling you that there's more to the story than just a mere sexual hookup between you and this woman, no, I can't tell you how many men and how many women I meet with the moon in Cancer that have had fated meetings with people from past lives, and they know it. But our culture, the church, don't teach us none of this. I will forever hold the church responsible for this. And the church and the Pope knows it, which is why they're trying to change things now. You know that the church, the Vatican, they're trying to change things now. They're being more lenient, especially with extraterrestrials and exorcism and demons. They're being more lenient. They're being more, because they know that the church era is coming to a close, along with the Piscean age. The church has outrun its course, and she knows it. She's the harlot that sits on the moon that the book of Revelation talks about. I won't go too deep into that. But her reign is almost over. As the stars of Aquarius loom closer and closer, we will be more enlightened. There'll be more astrologers like me. There'll be more millennials and people like your generation that will take my lead, take my torch, and move forward after I'm long gone. You will replenish the earth with fresh minds, fresh thinking, fresh innovation. This is the moon in Cancer, along with the moon in Libra and also the moon in Aquarius. The spark begins with the moon in Cancer, and then the actually making happen uh, uh, reaches a plateau in Libra, a cardinal sign who's very bent on materializing its ideas. And then from there, bringing it, but with Libra, it's more interpersonal. Baby steps, baby steps. With Aquarius, it's on a large scale, influencing humanity, a race, or even an epoch. The higher octave, which is Aquarius. Esoterically, esoterically, Libra takes the torch always, of course. But Aquarius is right up there and completing a cycle of perfection as is reflected by our Creator. But that also begins like as an ebb and flow and as a germinal seed with the moon in Cancer. Okay? Let's understand that. Okay? Now, what else can we say? Let me tell you. And I don't know if I said this in part two, in part one, but I'm like I mentioned, another protective aspect of her is she will care like for her family like no other. Men will want her in their bed badly. Okay? She will change with the phases of the moon. Like I mentioned, the body outside of her will still influences her internal natures. Yeah. And that's true basically of all of us, not just humans, but all the other kingdoms that coexist with us: the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the human kingdom, the animal kingdom. Okay? Uh, all of us are going to be moved by the ebb and flow of the moon. Okay? Don't be surprised if one day you're having great sex with this woman where she's just fucking your bones. But then on the next day or on the next moment, she becomes disgusted with you and pushes you away and wants nothing to do with you sexually. You know? Like you need to support this woman emotionally, like I said, in more ways than I'm willing to admit. Now, Another thing about the woman with the moon in Cancer is that she can be very, and this is true also of the human male, but more so of the female, is that she can be very sentimental. She can have a sentimental streak. Okay? She can be hurt and hold on to that hurt for a lifetime. Or she can imagine being hurt and not actually be hurt, but just imagine that she's hurt. And that can be enough to make her turn against you as if you actually really did hurt this woman emotionally. You don't have to hurt this woman emotionally, literally, to hurt her. She can imagine it, and it'll be just as real as if it actually was real. And that's what makes this type of woman dangerous. Because nothing will change her mind differently or otherwise if she doesn't feel, if she feels that you've hurt her emotionally. Okay? The moon is at home in Cancer. And the moon is most stable here. So even though we know that the Cancer woman or the moon in Cancer position in a woman's chart as well as in a man's chart often gives the reputation of being crabby and moody, the reality is that it is not that way with the moon in Cancer. The moon in Cancer is in its own sign, in its own house. She's in her own dignity. So we see a stability here, a sereneness. We also detect this same stability in its exaltation, which is Taurus, the moon in Taurus. Here we also see the moon perfectly still and more balanced than in any other sign of the zodiac besides the moon in Cancer. So this woman is more poised than you would think. Uh huh. She sure is. She sure is. So, what else can we say? One thing that's important that we have to discuss is that Cancer can be a sign that can be very depressed and can go through periods of depression. Remember, the opposite sign of Cancer is Capricorn, the devil. And Capricorn is the sign of depression. And so is the planet Saturn. So it is not surprising that you find many moon in Cancer women and men that may suffer from depression from time to time. It's like a child lost in a sea of emotion. It helps if the Cancer moon has an emotional outlet. Like having theater, being a performer, working with children and adolescents. You know, um, the best thing for an introverted child with the moon in Cancer is to be involved in the arts. The arts is very healing, and we're going to talk about the arts when we enter the moon in Leo, where the what we experience with the moon in Leo begins with the moon in Cancer. Understand that the moon builds upon every sign before it enters another sign. So there's going to be some kind of overlapping between the signs because Cancer is such the moon is so necessary and it's part of our makeup even before the moon, even before the sun. That's a mystery that we can talk in another time. That it is impossible to talk about humanity without the influence of the moon. It is because of the influence of the moon that humanity has reached a certain level of stability that it has never reached before until the last ice age. A lot of it has to do with the culmination of our experiences as taught to us by our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, which helped spark humanity in a way that would not have happened. We would have still been in the age of the Cro-Magnon man or the Neanderthal Had it not been for the extraterrestrial infusion of their DNA that has made us the beings that we are today. This is also attributed to the moon in Cancer. And we're done with this combination.